Welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, where we discuss and analyze your favorite marble sports. From JMR Marble League to Algodo tournaments, we'll make sure you never miss the action. All marble sports, all the time, right here on the MSW Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast. My name is Brendan.
And I'm Commander Wolf.
And I'm Marbles for Autism.
And this is episode 71 of the show. That's right, 71. The date. I never say the date, but I will this time. Freaking October 19th, 2020. That took me a long time. I looked at the 10, and I was like, wait, what month is 10? What? So yeah, okay, obviously we're starting off great, but a lot of marbles to talk today. A lot of things to talk today, marble-wise, and MFA, as usual, has some interesting topics for us to explore, and we will dive into those after Sand Marble Rally, and it's going to be a great show, but I will talk a little bit about my life. Let's see, what happened in my life last week. In the past week, I will say college ramped up, man. In the last week, I had a whole bunch of labs to do, and labs are the worst. Gotta say, labs are the worst. Labs for physics is what I'm in right now. Awful. They're so tedious. They take forever, and it just is the worst to have to do. Like, everything, you have to take all this data. It takes a million years, and you have to do like many different little mini experiments, and then after that you have to write this long report, and you have to like pretty much redo the lab because you're re-explaining everything. That was the longest any assignment has taken so far this year. So that was been rough. But I did went out golfing this weekend, which was fun, and had a good game. I got my first par ever on a real golf hole, so that felt great. And I came close like 3 other times to a par. I ended up with like 1 over, 2 over par. So not a bad game for me. One of my best. So it was a lot of fun, and it was good to get out of my house and everything. For that. So yeah, it's been overall a great week. But yeah, I wish I had funny stories like I did in the past, but honestly, there's not much going on besides that and me sitting at home doing work and video games. So, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, I don't have them to tell. I don't have them to tell like I did like months ago with random stories, because random stories come when you go out and do shit, and then like shit happens and you're like, wow, I didn't think that was ever gonna happen, and it does. So that's how stories come. So if they happen, they happen, but it's not nearly as likely right now because there's not nearly as much leaving the house. But yeah, nothing comes to mind. So we'll go on to Waf. Waf, how was your week?
Well, my week has been okay, I'd say. College is also ramped up for me. I have 2 group projects that are starting now, and I got that on top of all the rest of the work that I got to do. So it's only like 4 weeks left to get it all done. So, you know, it's kind of tough. I'm personally been more focused on just the show, actually, because like we're 4 weeks away from, like, after this one, from it's 4 weeks away from the season finale. So song coming up, got stuff, but not in too big of a big time rush. Just trying to get things ready. I have everything's recorded. I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's reactions. I also have a special thing planned because But we'll get to that when we get to there. So,
wait and see. I will say I was dubious at first about the whole season thing, where every 25 episodes we consider it a season. But I don't mind it. I like it. I think it's nice. Seasons end up being about a half a year, considering a year is 52 weeks and 25 episodes would be half a year, but I don't mind it. I feel it kind of adds character to the show. Every season, something crazy happens, and we just kind of look back and appreciate how far we've gone with the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast. So I'm fine with it, and I hope you guys are too.
Are you?
And I hope we have a continued happy rest of the year, Marble Sports wise, in 2020.
Are
that
we
being
going,
said,
Mr. Waff? Are you going to be mining diamonds?
Oh, no, not this time. Not this time.
Oh, bummer.
yeah. Oh, what was that? A nod to the Minecraft theme song he had?
Yes, Revenge.
Yeah.
The very first one.
Yeah, that was I think that was 14. That was in the middle.
It
of the
was
season.
indeed.
Yeah.
You know
Started
what?
it all.
You know what? You just think about it. You've already done almost 3 seasons.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah,
you're,
we're coming up at the end of the third here. It's ridiculous.
you're going to be surpassing a lot of TV shows soon.
I guess so. I mean, we've had a ton of episodes. Actually, this is a good time to mention this. Good a time as any, I guess. When I first started getting into podcasting, I used to listen. This was years ago. This was, of course, a year and a half ago now. And actually, it was more before that because I didn't start the podcast till after I'd listened to this one for a while. I, of course, listened to the Monday Morning with Bill Burr all the time still. I love his podcast. But before that, I also listened to the Fortnite Champions podcast. I was a big Fortnite player back in my junior year of high school and sophomore year of high school. And I loved the Fortnite Champions podcast because it was just a funny podcast. They actually covered some good stuff in the game, so I would know what's going on in the game. But they also went on random tangents, and it was fun to listen to them talk about whatever. So it was a fun podcast to listen to, and we had one of them on. That was the first time I ever guested on someone else's podcast, and we had one of them on our podcast, episode 13, I believe. But they had been doing it for a long time. They got 78 episodes in, I believe. I don't think they have continued since they quit for a while. So it's 78 they had, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of episodes. It's not tons and tons, but that's a pretty solid amount to be doing a podcast for. So we're actually getting close to hitting that number ourselves, and we will at some point be podcasting longer than that podcast, which is a show I listened to for a while, and that really kind of inspired me to want to begin my own podcast. So with that being said, there's a little random history. There you go. But I think Johnny Marble right now, I mean, I can just see him, man. He wants to talk. He wants to talk marbles with you. I know he wants to talk marbles with you. And I know you want to hear him talk marbles with you. So without further ado, let's get to the nose.
Hello, Marble Sports fans! I am Johnny Marble, and as always, I am coming to you for MSW. Let's get right into the news. So race 6 of Marble Rally 2020 was yet another race with fantastic weather conditions, resulting in more spectacular racing. It was a real battle for the podium positions, but in the end, Ghost Plasma took home first, followed by Nemo in second, which is their first ever podium in Marble Rally history, so congratulations to them, and Lollipop in a close third. Now unfortunately, Marble Rally won't return until next year, but fear not, for Formula 1 Season 2 has been announced. There are more teams than ever with a total of 20, and the first race will premiere on Saturday, November 7th, so make sure to mark your calendars, because you won't want to miss it. And for our last piece of news, we have Race 5 of the Racing Marble League, the Portland Marble Speedway, and it was also very exciting. The two leading marbles really gave it their all as they battled for first, but in the end, Crimson Lady took home the gold, leaving Quicksilver with the silver and Predator with the bronze. Well guys, that's all the news I have for you, but hey, we got through it, so let's have a good day. I've been Johnny Marble. You have been the best fans in the world. Let's kick it back and continue on with the podcast.
Welcome back from the news, everybody. Thank you, Johnny Marble, for bringing us through the news of this week, Marble Sports-wise. I always appreciate that. And here we are. Episode 71, past the intro here. And we are talking marbles. We're going to jump right into it. No need to waste time. And we'll talk fantasy. We'll talk fantasy SMR. We'll talk SMR track design, because we got a new track. We'll talk competitors for SMR and the future predictions. And then, as usual, we'll cover some other topics, trivia, you know how it goes. So, to start us off, WAF, fantasy team, points on race 5. Who did they come from? How much did you gain?
All right. I did a whole lot better this time.
Nice. It's good to hear.
Yeah, highest points haul so far. I got 98 points.
Wow, that was more than me.
Oh, yeah, and then it's all thanks to red number 3 in that last race. Like, just one good race, and already my total, like, red number 3 is making up, like my second highest point spot. I have 96 points. Super Bowl has earned me 112, so not too far behind. And then we get to some of the lower ones. Nemo, 12. Nemo did not do good again, but, like...
what do you expect at this
Slimer
point?
and El Capitan, though, both did really well that last race as well, so... Now they've net me 33 and 38 respectively. So I am doing pretty dang good. I have 291 points, and I've now moved up to 71st place.
Wow, that's pretty nice, actually. So you've made
tied
some
with
jumps.
72nd, but you know.
Congratulations, Mr. Ruff.
So I'll talk about my fantasy. I have 320 points overall, which is not bad. It puts me, I forgot to look, it put me like about 40th, which is not the worst, but not the best. I need Crazy Cat's Eye to perform better. I need Comet to perform better. I need Super Bowl to continue to perform better. But I did have my best points all overall, 79 points, which is one over my second best, race 1, which is 78. Super Bowl, of course, pulled good points, but Crazy Cat's Eye and Comet, again, struggled in this race. Crazy Cat's Eye only 5 points, Comet only 2. So overall, a decent points haul, a good points haul, but I need Crazy Cat's Eye to start performing better, or I'm going to be out of the race to at least finish top 10, top 20. And I'm fine with top 30. I don't want to be below top 30. I think I picked the team that should be able to do top 30. But, of course, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't. So, I mean, we have to wait and see. We have 7 races left, and I honestly think if Crazy Cat's Eye starts to perform the way Crazy Cat's Eye is able to perform, then we could turn this one around. But still happy where I am right now. 320 points is not that bad. I think I'm tied for 38th or something like that. It was something of that sort. While we're talking about the fantasy, I want to jump into this topic right here, and we'll talk about track design in a moment. But I want to talk about red number 3, and I want to get everyone's opinions on red number 3 here. And I want to remind you of red number 3 and what red number 3 was the first 5 races of the season. All right, red number 3 came out first 4 races, and we talked about this at length last week, with a terrible points haul in the first 4 races, 6-6-0-3. Nothing better than 6th. And I said, after race 4, I said that at this point, 1/3 of the way through the season, that I don't think red number 3 is a racer worth considering when it comes to front runners, when it comes to top 5 finishers, when it comes to just overall marbles to look out for on the track. I said red number 3 is not that guy. And then he comes back out in race 5. He gets second place, 17 points. Which, by the way, 6-6-3 and 0, which is the first 4 races, he got more points in this race than he did over the first 4 races, which, to be honest, is sad in and of itself. But I want to hear, I obviously have a lot of thoughts on this, but I want to hear Waff. I want to hear MFA first talk about this. Red number 3, what do you think? Is he turning it around? Is this a fluke? Is this a lucky race? Is red number 3 second place here? Waff and MFA. Is that like Cobra getting first in that one race? Because, by the way, Cobra, who has a gold medal, has 2 DNFs and 2 0-point finishes besides that gold medal. So is red number 3 a Cobra? Or is red number 3 just a late bloomer this season? Waff, we'll start with you.
I always have the very uninteresting answer of we have to wait and see. It's always, I never make I very rarely make assumptions because you know what they say about assumptions.
But I do want I know you don't like to make assumptions, but I want to hear what you think. I mean, obviously you can't know what's going to happen. Red number 3 could get second place the next 8 races in a row. Red number 3 could get last place the next 4 races in a row. You don't know. But I want to tell you, if you were right now held at gunpoint, or and you were like, okay, you got to tell me right now. I need you to at least be able to give an opinion. Is red number 3 a late bloomer? Is red number 3 just an example of another Cobra this season and not gonna turn it around? What are you gonna say? Where are you leaning with red number 3 right now?
Because the conditions were the best they had been, I want to think that this is red number 3 turning it around. Like, they're going to race on this track again, so chances are that, like, if, like, it's, like, pretty much the exact same conditions or as close as they can, I think red number 3 is going to make a comeback. I think red number 3, it really just depends on, like, the conditions of it all. Because, like, red number 3, because all these other marbles, they are all veterans, and and red number 3, while they are a veteran, because they had that surgery recently, they have a brand new sheen. Their body is fresh and new, so it probably is affected more by the stickiness of the wet sand compared to some of the rougher marbles that have better friction. So I think that's why it's been so bad for them, because it's been so wet. Red number 3 gets slowed down a whole lot.
That's possible.
But now those like pretty much perfect conditions, there was much less resistance from the sand and less drag. So I think as long as the conditions are right, red number 3 could be making a massive comeback.
So your opinion is it's the better the conditions, the better the opportunity for red number 3.
Yes.
All right, I'll take it. Hey, that's a valid opinion, something I didn't think about before. MFA, do you have thoughts on red number 3 here?
Well, I've been looking through the stats while you were chatting away with Mr. Waff, and he typically does have a very poor first race. Now, this season was very unique in the fact that he had 3 or 4 poor races in a row.
4 terrible races, that is a fact.
That is a very true fact, at least for red number 3. So yeah. I'm going to say, I think red number 3 may be having a bit of a comeback. I don't think he'll win. I think it'll be top 5. I think he might have a slight comeback, but if it's only a one track...
Top 5? You putting him top 5 by the end of the season?
I mean, they moved up 7 places in with that one victory.
Come on, it's one race!
Or was it 5? Was it 5 places or 7 places?
Oh, come on.
Okay, I would just like to say the point gap to 5th between red number 3 and Dragon's Egg, who is currently in 5th, is 19 points, or 20 points.
I'll say, that's not that bad. That is not nothing, but it is not that high. It's not a high gap. It's not an unattainable gap. So 20, you're right. You're right in that sense.
And then the gap to first is only 31 points. And he has closed that before.
So, wait, did they jump up 5 places, or was it 7 places that they jumped up?
I think
they jumped well. I think they were in 16th before, if I remember correctly. I don't 100% remember.
I think it's
it was
5
5
or 6.
Because I talked about them being in 16th last week. So they jumped about 5 places.
That makes more sense than 7.
Yeah, it wasn't 7. But I mean, 20 points behind top 5.
Oh wait, no, apologies. I mean 19 behind top
19,
5.
20, same thing. But I mean, that's not an unattainable number. I'll give you that. All right, I will give you that, and I think that but both WAF and MFA here have optimistic opinions. I do. I mean, you're looking at one silver finish, and you're saying that red number 3 is going to turn it around. Here's what I have to think about this.
What I'm saying about it is that I don't think he'll three-peat, excuse me, but I do think he will get top 5 again. He's not three-peating.
He's not repeat champion. He's not three-peating. He's not. That's a good word, by the way. Is that a real word, three-peating? I like
yes,
that.
three-peat is a word.
That's a great word.
Yeah.
Word of the day. So I had to write that down because it's a real word. But I mean, it's he's not three-peating. He's definitely not. I feel like that is almost a fact. I mean, obviously anything can happen, but come on. I mean, red number 3 three-peating is as likely as Blazing Fireball getting top 5 this year. It's true. But here's what I'll say about red number 3. What I think about it. And I will say, WAF's opinion on the conditions, I think, is very valid. I did not think about that. And I think that we'll see if what WAF is saying is true, we will see it manifest in the next race. Because the next race is obviously going to be the same track.
Although,
they usually record it back-to-back, so it's probably similar conditions.
Could I make one real quick statement?
Of course,
Sure.
yeah.
When the way JMR does it is they don't start in the same place for each race. So if he started, I do believe, in P10, I'm going to real quick check. If he starts in P10...
He will start in P11. He'll start in back left corner.
Yes, he'll start in the back.
They start based on their overall current placement. So Cool Moody will start front left. Red number 3 will be back left. He started in middle back last time because he was in 16th.
No, let's see, where did he start?
He should have been...
He started 10th. No, he started him 10th. He was
I don't
on the
know
front
how
row.
they're doing the things there because his overall placements should be...
Or is it based on the previous race?
No, because I thought it was that, but then it wasn't. Because... Oh, no, they do it differently. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not like left to right, 1 through 10, and then left to right, 11 through 20. They kind of work it out from the middle. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's valid.
So, he's going to be starting probably, if they want to flip-flop it, from the carbon copy of what he did. So, if you're starting 1, you start 20th. If they're going to flip-flop it, he's going to start P11. So, it's going to be center of the grid, but in the back row. So,
But why is duct tape 1? Why is duct tape 1 even though duct tape finished?
I think they do random
race?
draw. I think they do random draw. So like they pot draw.
They're still doing it. Well, they didn't used to do random draw, and I don't agree with that. I don't know why they're doing random draw because I know they didn't do random draw in previous years. But if they are doing random draw, then I guess it doesn't really we can't. I mean, at least we can't really talk about position placement this year. But
what I think is they do it for the first race, and then they just flip it so that it's not one marble gets straight up in the front.
Okay.
Or it might be positions from where they finish, so they random draw for the first race, and then, they flip to the position where they finish, so the opposite. So if you finish first place, you start at 20th, P20. If you finish second, you go to P19, which in this case would be top left.
Wait, but duct tape is in 1, and duct tape did not finish last.
Well, I'm saying random draw for the first race on this track. So you're saying they have a second race here at this track.
Oh, they do have a second race. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe you get position based on in the second race, but like for the first one on the new track. Okay, that makes sense. Because I remember in the fourth race, I noticed that there was some sort of like clear positioning based on the previous standing. So we'll have to see race 6 and how they standing that. I'll look closely at that tomorrow. But okay, I understand what you're saying. He started P10. He came out. He wasn't in the best position. We've seen stats on this. Middle is obviously usually better. So he came out in P10 and actually got second. So I think conditions did play a factor here, or fluke. We don't really know. But like I was going to say, I think this next race is going to tell us if Waff is right. If this next race he does like pretty well in the top 7, 8, you could make a good argument that the better conditions are going to help red number 3 in his new clean form. But if he does not do well again, which I don't think he's going to do well, then it's gonna. I don't think you can make an argument for the conditions. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see.
Okay, I'm currently rewatching the videos to see. Okay, so there wasn't any change because I'm watching it again. Red number 3 finished 18th in race 3. In race 4, he started P12 and P12. Yes. Dragon's Egg was finished first. She was positioned P10. So I guess they do it randomly.
Yeah, I think they might. I don't 100% agree with that.
Well, you know what I would like to see? Is if they were to do this for next year, is do a random start for the first race, and then for the second race, figure out who got first, second, third, and then flip the grid. So reverse grid for second race.
I could see that. I could agree with that. I think a reverse grid is fair. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to think about random draw. Honestly, if I would say every time there's a new track, they take the overall standings and order them that way. Where if you're in the top of the overall standings, you get the front, and if you're in the bottom of the overall standings, you get the back.
No,
for the first
I would.
And the second. No, let me finish. Second race on the track, then you should take the results of that particular race and order them that way. I don't know. I just feel that you should definitely, because it's not that much of a difference. It's not that much of a difference if you're in the front row. Yes, you have a little bit of advantage, but come on, it's not that big of a deal. So I feel like they should definitely give that small reward to the marbles who are doing better. It's fair, I think, is what you should do.
I would say that I would do the reverse of it. So I would put the people leading the championship in P 2019, etc. down. So 1, 2, 3 is 2019. I don't know, but 18.
Well, I think
so. Here's the reason I do that. Could I quickly say something about why I do that? Well, one,
you could say quickly, slowly, however you
want.
Okay.
The reason I do that is because it creates more fighting. So you might have the slower marbles up front. So the faster championship marbles need to push through the traffic in order to even
have more action. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so more action, more lead changes. And that would be extremely cool because, sometimes we do get lead changes, but what are they from? They're more from divergence in the tracks. They're not from actual clean overtakes. If you remember race 5, the leads happened 1 on a divergent section of the track, and 2 there were 3 lead changes, I do believe, that were prominent. 2 of them happened with 1 the divergent and the divergence, if you remember, and 2 the second one happened because the track started to fall apart and Summer Sky just happened to whack it. Now the third overtake was a clean overtake by Lollipop and red number 3 coming down the straight.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I personally would do a reverse. That's why I would personally do a reverse grid. So for the first race, and then where they finish, you reverse it again.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can understand that. Creates more excitement. You know, I can get behind that. But anyways, to jump back to red number 3 real quick, because we asked MFA, we asked WAF their opinions on red number 3 in the future. I'm gonna tell you my opinion on red number 3 in the future. I think he's gonna do bad still, and here's why I think he's gonna do bad. This second place finish is great, but we shouldn't take this second place finish, project conditions were good or whatever onto the situation, just because it was a little different, and be like, okay, that's what red number 3 is. We're all good. We got it all set. That's what's gonna happen. Because we're discounting the first 4 races, which did happen and were deplorable. And there are other marbles with clear showings of 1 good race and 4 bad ones. Duct Tape, great example. Slimer, decent example. McMarble Marbleface, great example. Cobra, great example. Many other marbles have done the same thing. One great race, and 4 bad ones. Now, the only difference, I guess, to Waff's point would be that red number 3 is the only marble of that group to have their best race when the conditions were substantially different. So maybe there's something to that. We'll see. But I will say, I think we shouldn't discount the 4 bad races to even see this one good one. The other thing I want to say, and this is to speak to red number 3's overall usual ability in a race. Red number 3 of 2019, red number 3 of 2018, red number 3 of 2017 would not have lost this race.
I agree. Completely agree. Lollipop.
He just would not have lost it.
Lollipop.
I mean,
would not
Red
have.
3's lost races before, even back
Yeah,
when
I know,
in their
but
heyday.
red number 3 was out in front. He had the lead. He didn't
probably
have
had a
many
5
marbles behind him. He did not. We'll even look at it. I'll go. We'll play the race through, and I'll skip to the end actually because we'll replay it when we talk about track design. If you're looking on the YouTube, like I say this every time. If you're listening to the show and you're listening on the YouTube, you'll be able to see the visuals I have up. If you're listening without the YouTube, you'll just hear me talking about. Anyway, let's talk about red number 3 here. We're looking at the video. Red number 3. He's out in front. Lollipop's behind. He's actually well out in front here towards the end of the race. This red number 3, red number 3 to the past few years does not lose this race at this point.
Okay, fair.
We're on the last fifth of the race. Red number 3 is not on the screen. He has speed to his advantage right now. There's no other marbles in the vicinity. Red number 3 all of a sudden is this big lateral motion right there, if you saw that. And then lets Lollipop pass without any collision, without any like indication that he was going to try to, block or reciprocate and try to repass. Nothing. And that red number 3 is not the red number 3 that I've seen in the past 3 years. And I based on that, and I know he got second. I know. Because I was there and I just watched it. It just happened. He got second. I get it. But red number 3 of the last 3 years would have gotten first place. And I'm telling you that, any marble, even Cobra, who's down in 16th place or 16th place in this race, 17th overall, got a first place. Any marble can get a first place at least once in the Sand Marble Rally. Is consistency that wins Sand Marble Rallies, and red number 3, I don't think has it this year, and especially after choking the end of that race here in race 5, I really don't see how you can sit here and say red number 3 is going to, turn this around, or be optimistic that it's more likely he turn it around than he not, because he could turn it around. Any marble on any different day could turn it around over the course of the season, but in my opinion, I am more pessimistic. I think it's more likely that red number 3 continue in the negative state he's continuing now than turn this around throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, we need to see the next races, but I don't think it's happening.
May I say one thing real quick? If he had literally held on, you know how the course narrowed as they came to the finish.
Yes.
If he had literally held on 3 more seconds, he would have been able to, since the track narrowed, Lollipop wouldn't have all that space on the left and right.
Yeah,
so
true.
He would have definitely been able to block. He literally lost it within 2 seconds later. The Lollipop would have no shot. We saw red number 3 try to peek around the outside. No chance on that one when he was trying right down at the end. So I can't agree. I can see what you're coming from with the fact that you think red number 3 will not have any chance. And I can see why you say that. Because red number 3, as we've stated before, does not look like red number 3. Quite literally.
No.
Quite
no,
literally.
Indeed. Well,
I just love how I think this happens every time. Like whenever a marble that is doing bad does good, your immediate response is always like the pessimistic one of no, they're not. This is not a sign of them making a comeback. And regardless of whether or not you end up being wrong, you never change. Like yours always like immediate response must be that it's just a fluke.
Wait, this is not a mini maniacs. This is not.
Mini Maniacs good.
This is not. Listen, I don't like the Mini Maniacs. I've said this before. They will just always be a team I don't like in the Marble League. I just not my thing. But the Mini Maniacs was different because the Mini Maniacs were more of a team that I didn't like and didn't want to do well, and was just, while I could, coming up with valid reasons that I think that they might not do well in the future. And they were just always doing pretty well, and I had to suffer that. Red number 3 has 4 races where he clearly did not do well.
Brendan, you're taking this the wrong way. First of all, I wasn't saying like that you were wrong about number 3. I was just like making an observation of
your observation is right, but I think it's more founded in my discussion on Minty Maniacs than it was on Red number 3.
Well, Minty Maniacs, like it was the opposite, where they were doing good most of the time, and you were trying to deny it. Whereas Red number 3 is just doing awful the entire first beginning of this season.
Yeah, so I'm saying I think I have more facts and more I do take a negative opinion when a marble does bad and then turns around and starts doing good. I'm like, this is probably not going to persist. But I do think that you're right. There are times I've done that a lot. There are times where it's less founded than others, but I think Red number 3 right now, I have a very, very, very founded reasons right now to talk about this.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I'm only putting out the hypothetical here. Of like I'm studying to be an engineer, so I always look for that scientific stuff. It's like,
by the way.
Okay, like I'm looking at all the variables. Like, okay, well, what are the most unique variables here that are different compared to the past races? One, right. It's that the conditions are different, and like, well, why is it only affecting really Red number 3 here mostly than compared to the rest of them? Well, Red number 3 is the only marble that has 0 wear and tear. Or at least significantly less.
Or minimal wear and tear compared to the other marble.
Yes.
I will say this. I will say you have a founded reason, because every other marble in the bottom 12 below El Capitan, who bronzed in this race, good for him. Bottom 12, Red number 3 is the only marble with a good race.
Yeah.
In race 5, when the conditions were better. And Red number 3 evidently is a new...
Red number 3 is 11th.
You may have a point. I know, bottom 12 I was saying. So that would go from 9th down to 20th.
Okay,
So you have a founded point and a possible correct point on when talking about conditions and the fact that Red number 3 is new and stuff. So I'm not going to knock the point. But I just feel that...
Now
I don't know if that's all that it's accounting for. I don't think it's accounting for all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but I just realized last year when talking about like the wet sand, did I say the exact opposite where the smoother marbles pick up sand more? Well, actually, no, this is back when we were debating like the polyurethane or whatever material Red number 3 was compared to the other marbles, like how it doesn't pick up as much sand. Because glass, I guess, glass is smoother
better in the wetter sand. We did discuss this. We did actually delve into that. We did.
So I guess now they're more uneven. That's probably why the gap wasn't as big, because like they're on an even playing field, being all glass now. But again, the only difference being that Red number 3 is significantly less worn down. And what was there was a second thing I was gonna say here. What was the thing I was gonna say? Oh, right. Maybe it's there's a last episode a commenter mentioned like how like in every race Red number 3 is starting next to Blazing Fireball, but this race they didn't, and now they did well. Like, so maybe they were right. Maybe there was the Blazing Fireball curse.
I love that. I love that because in my opinion, that
kidding?
Is a Red number 3 fan trying to find a reason that Red number 3 is doing bad besides the fact that he's just bad. But
out of curiosity, the other marble next to Red number Blazing Fireball, did they also do bad?
Oh, let's check this out.
I don't know. Come on, are we entertaining this?
Yes.
For the sake of the meme, just for the meme. I don't.
For the meme, fine.
I want to know: is this a Red number 3 only curse, or is this a marble?
Fireball 16. Well, he wasn't next. Okay, let's see what marbles were next to Blazing Fireball in race 5. So we had
I'm checking
18 of Dragon's Egg was next to Blazing Fireball in race 5, and Dragon's Egg 10 points in race 5, so that's decent actually. And then 14 of Marble Face.
He only got 1 point.
He only got 1 point. But hey, Dragon's Egg got 10.
And that is just one race.
I mean, I will concede that besides DNFs, the 10 points is Dragon's Egg's worst race, but it's still not bad. So I don't know. You'd have to look into it. And of course, there's the marble in front of Blazing Fireball, which is touching it, of course. And but that would be Quicksilver. And Quicksilver.
He's not affected.
Quicksilver only got 3 points. So I mean,
But I mean,
I don't know.
Reality, Quicksilver isn't really affected because he's in front. So why?
Yeah, but like, neither of the marbles on the sides.
Because when they bash together. So
How? How are they affected? You tell me one actual reason. It's a 3-minute race.
The reason why is when you start, if Blazing Fireball like bumps into somebody.
Come on.
No, really. It's
like in Family Guy when the character Death touches one of the guys, he just falls dead. That's what happens when Blazing Fireball touches another marble. Come on. Come on.
Well, let's just say Marbly McMarbleface and Quicksilver obviously fell.
But how many
dead.
other marbles did Blazing Fireball touch after getting out of the gate, though?
Yeah, then you have to look at all that, and then he probably touches it like half the marbles every time. I mean,
probably touched Lollipop at one point.
And now you're doing confirmation bias because Blazing Fireball is so bad that he probably is touching marbles that did bad because he is so bad and he's in the back. So I mean, I don't know.
Hey, could I just say one thing? Red
Yeah.
number 3 was actually on pole technically. Here's the reason. Because if you watch the race, the course took a sharp right-hander right off the bat. So he was technically on pole. And now
Let's watch it actually because I have it up here.
The outside marbles or the center marbles do get a good launch. That is Summer Sky, Comet, and Duct Tape.
Red number 3 fell middle of the pack out of the gate.
No, he was 5th. That's top 5. And then he makes up his place on Slimer right outside the gate, and he covers off
Duct
Duct
Tape.
Tape.
He gets up to 3rd, actually.
Yeah.
But he kind of folds in out of the gate. He didn't have that burst of speed right out of the gate that you might expect a normal Red number 3 to do.
Well, actually, nobody really had that burst of speed.
Well, I mean, a couple marbles did. I think Comet and Summer Sky got out
Comet
pretty
and
well.
Summer Sky did. But where did they end up? If I remember correctly.
Comet bothers me because Comet came out. He had a lead and he blew it.
On the change,
Summer Sky ended 8 points, which is not terrible actually, but it's not great. I mean, I don't know, man. I gotta be honest. Comet's a disappointment this year for me by a lot.
But remember, we can never we're never going to give Comet up. We're never going to let him down.
No, dude. I mean, I thought he was gonna do well, so I picked him. But I mean, he's just. I mean, look at this. 3-4-1 DNF 2. Oh my god, awful. He's completing the cycle in the lower numbers.
He's got 0, 1, 4, and 2 DNFs and points. So he's got 5. No, 3, 4, 1, 2. Actually,
3, 4, 1, 2.
Well, is Comet more middle of the pack in the past, or have they been near the bottom?
Near the bottom, actually.
No, Comet's actually been middle of the pack before.
Middle of the pack, but he had a couple other seasons, or at least one other season where he's bottom. I remember noting that, and oh wow, Comet's not actually that good.
Hey, go to minute 113. Check out that absolutely massive hole above the track. Just go to minute 113. Just check out that hole when they're rolling by.
Oh yeah. You guys see that? Yeah, if you're on the YouTube, you see there's a giant just hole. I mean, maybe that's where they get some of the sand to kind of pad the outside. I don't know.
That might be the case.
Yeah. Or maybe they were just like, hole.
Or I mean, again, that's a public park, so someone else could have dug that hole themselves.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so jealous. I wish I had that big of a sandhill.
Everyone does. Could you imagine all this? Could you imagine if there were more of these big sand hills just around? Could you imagine the crazy just copies of JMR Sand Marble Rally there'd be a lot. Come on. And there would be bad too, because this takes work. Making this track takes a ton of work, and you cannot deny that.
I know. Trust me, I not only know, I've made Sand Marble Rally courses before. I made one that was 25 seconds long, and it took me an hour and a half.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
But also, I will say that it was more like dirt, kind of. The top part was more sand.
Yeah, if it's not easy to dig through, then it's going to be tough to make.
It was also around, in the middle of a swamp, a little bit above a swamp.
That's going to be terribly rough.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
There is one thing though about the quality that people have pointed out quite a bit, and that it's kind of hard to ignore, is that the camera work, or at least the editing, I think specifically, has been kind of not as good. Camera work wise, there's points where the camera isn't going as fast or is a bit shaky.
The leader leaves the board. You know what? They need to do a drone for this. They really do.
Well, they have a steady cam. Like I've seen it's
a gimbal. They have a gimbal. It's a gimbal.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's some problems recording. They really this is one of those races where they need to do a drone. They really do need to use a drone. And it's come on. I mean, like it's not like they don't have the money for it.
Yeah, they have 1.27 million subscribers.
Well, there's a reason. Like again, like the drone can blow sand around, and like also it adds noise. They want to have well, you may not notice it. Like they do keep the sound of the race happening, so you like hear the marbles like hitting the sand and clacking against each other.
Yeah, I didn't think about the sound.
So if you do that, you'll hear the drone going.
Maybe I'm sure you can get drones that are not very loud, but I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. I think that the camera work didn't really bother me. I think if I nitpick, there are a couple times where like the leader's off the screen or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I didn't like Hershey. I remember Hershey came into the thing. He's like, "Oh my God, JMR camera work is terrible." Now he's probably doing that because he's in competition with JMR, but that's for conversation for another time. But
I think you're exaggerating. I think how much I said, but like but that's just you.
He was like very like upset about it. He was like.
I mean,
okay, but it wasn't that bad.
I think it was last race. Like, I think last race, the race started,
and he said the comment, and then like I didn't respond to it, and then he said it again. I mean, he was really like driving at that.
Well, I think it's because it was one was for the race before this, and one was for this race. Like the race before this, I think like the race started like, and the camera cut like 3 times. Like it was very jarring.
I mean, they might be trying some new things.
I would like to say another thing is he isn't wrong. The camera cuts have been absolutely garbage. This has been like one of the worst Marble Rally seasons. Like if you remember back in the old days, okay, I'm harkening back a long time, back to 2016, first season. They only had 1 or 2 cameras. One was at the start and the guy holding it, and the number 2 was at the finish. And maybe another one on the sand to catch him going by.
They might be making a mistake that I called out on Fubica multiple times, where you go camera crazy and you have too many cameras.
Yes,
and honestly, I am a strong believer in the 2-camera method.
I am a strong believer in it. Maybe 3 for like a...
Well, maybe 3, but like what I really and of course, you know, it's not like set, but my method I think is 1 camera always following the leader, another camera or 2 set up at specific points where you might want to cut to see the back, cut to see a specific viewpoint, but most of the time camera should be single, follow the marble situation. I am a huge believer in that, because when that's done, then you get to really see the interactions of those top 5 marbles working.
Or if the leader, as red number 3 has done before, absolutely runs away with the lead, you just focus back at 2nd and 3rd. Because
and then you can flip back and focus. But I think I follow the leader or follow the top style of recording. Now that's a little harder. Of course, you have to have steady hand. You have to be focused with your camera and blah blah. But I think it's an overall much better way to record marble racing. This is not like this. Here's a.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I know in like Formula 1, like if you watch Formula 1, they do a lot of those camera cutting methods, but that's kind of because it's just not, it's a much longer race, passes happen much less frequently, so you don't really need to see that much, and you can cut the camera a lot to just get different viewpoints so the cars look cool, who go fast, you know, it looks cool. But in marbles, the races are much shorter, and the lead changes happen a lot more often, so you need to not have all these camera cuts making it hard to see what's going on with the marble. And for the commentator, I know from experience, and you know, obviously there's other people commentating marbles, it's easier when you can actually see what's going on. Instead of like cutting the camera, you have to readjust your eyes. All of a sudden a pass happens and you didn't even notice it. Then people are like, oh my God, well, you didn't mention this pass. Well, I'm like, well, I didn't see it. I mean, like, you know, so
yeah,
I mean,
I get that. I mean, it's like
camera wise, marble sports should always be follow the leader.
Racing,
I agree. That's what I think.
I mean, racing marbles, the one you do, actually does a decent job with the cameras.
Now, I talked to him because we had a discussion on improving the videos. And by the way, if you haven't checked out Racing Marbles, on Racing Marble League, I think it would be on YouTube. Check it out. Very well done quality. In my opinion, that is. I mean, I guess you could argue Fubica's really good too, but like that is 2nd or 3rd best quality.
He's better
of marble
than
sports.
He's better than M&H Racing.
Better than M&H. Better than Marbles Beyond currently.
Ooh, that's a bit
better
tough.
than definitely better than Marbles Beyond.
Wow.
Better than Fubica, maybe, depending on what you prefer in your videos.
And just clarifying, because I think people are confused. He's referring to camera quality and editing specifically.
Camera quality and
Oh,
editing.
yeah.
Also, no. Actually, I do enjoy the races by Racing Marble League more than Marbles Beyond. I think that the tracks are more dynamic and it's more easy to follow. I think, in my opinion, NASMARB is awesome. I love NASMARB. I'm not knocking it, but in my opinion, if you want to turn it from something that is niche and a few thousand people really enjoy, like myself, to something that everyone can look at and just like, wow, that's cool. There's a lot of fixes.
Yeah,
there's just a lot.
Okay, can I just quickly name 3 right off the bat, right here? One.
Yeah, you can. We'll roll into it.
Better cameras. Like, I mean.
Well, yeah, that's one, and better studio would also be another one.
So 2, studio, and 3 actually make it like a circuit, kind of like
that's where it gets hard, because putting those having those cars be able to go up elevators is going to be hard.
Okay, can I please quickly address this? 1, Hershey plans on having a studio. I cannot confirm it, but I have heard he is working on a studio.
Well, yeah,
2,
he's able to access one, I think, at his college or something like that. But
but
it's going to be for the next season.
He's actually working on a actual elevator, not even an elevator, but an actual shooter, very much like Fubica. And 3, if he gets a studio and he has a better background, he won't need as many cameras. So
that's true.
So basically, those 3 problems are very easy to fix. So you know what? I would say that he's really in a good position to really absolutely shove it into the second stage.
Hold on. Okay, so here, let me address the all 3 of those. So first one, better camera. So as a patron, we kind of discuss, like, it's our money going into it. We actually discuss how the budget goes. One of the things was, hey, better camera or more track pieces for better tracks. We ultimately decided on track pieces. So the budget is not that big, so we have to pick and choose.
Problem. The budget is low right
2,
now.
The studio thing is something he's confirmed publicly, yes, but they have equipment there, so for the studio time, he'll have a better environment and better camera, but that is not a permanent solution because he can only work there for free as long as he's attending school there. So once he graduates, that'll be gone.
Wait a minute. Listen. And like, I don't know how long he's gonna be at the college, but let's say if he's out there for like 40 years and he has 40 years to use that studio,
I think
and at
he's
the
already
end
been there
of
like 2 or 3
years.
He's already been there.
He's already on his way to getting his bachelor's degree.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, like if it was like if it's only 1 year, then yeah, it's gonna be tough to find like an option. But like, you know, if it was 4 years and after 4 years the channel still went nowhere with all the studio, then I would say, I mean, come on, what are you really doing at that point? But like, you know, 1 year, yeah, he's gonna have to find a different place. But I don't know. I think that NASMARB can improve. I think overall Marbles Beyond, to me, I like Marbles Beyond. I do, and I'm not knocking them. I think they're great, and I think they do push the boundaries of Marble Sports. Yeah. But just the way Hershey creates videos and like structures tournaments and structures the way he structures it, it's too long. Always, it always seems a little bit too kind of a little bit unorganized, or just a little bit too much content and not enough excitement. I mean, like, I just can't sit there and watch 30 minutes. I just cannot do it. And also I feel like now just, I mean, I know it's mostly because of cameras and studio, but it still kind of has a little bit of a homey feel to it and less of a professional feel.
I get that. I completely get that.
Yes, I think he's going to be able to fix a lot of those things.
And
I do think he's be able to. Wait a minute.
Yeah, okay.
I do think he's be able to. But right now, if we're talking this second, I think Racing Marble League is better. I do. I think it's easily better. Right now. I said right now.
Okay, I can agree with that.
See where it goes.
Okay.
All right?
I would like to say the resource and development of Marbles Beyond is better. Like, the actual way they've thought of actually putting marbles inside of die-cast cars. Their resource and development is better than any marble channel. If they can harness that with a great atmosphere, maybe a few marble fans can make a grandstand, bam. I mean, this could be, like, awesome. Like,
well, we'll see. And
the fact is,
you gotta
when
remember,
you have real life sponsors, you know what? Hey, the sponsors are gonna want to show off everyone having a car. So basically, they're gonna do the sponsoring for you. So you can save a little bit of money on not having to throw around money to get your video out in the world, because the people who sponsor the cars are going to try to get the car out into the
They're
world.
paying for it, yeah. But
Well, it's not like he spends money on advertising to begin with. Like he doesn't have. It's not in the budget. We can't afford to pay for advertise, or not. He can't afford to pay an advertiser to do that. That's just But the other third thing you mentioned about improvement, other series. He's already announced there are plans for other series. So this is the first season, so doing something simple and basic to prove a concept. There are already plans for other series. He's already mentioned trucks. And I'm pretty sure as you mentioned, the launching system, he's already got plans on having a circuit series.
Which is going to be awesome. You know what, this, real quick, I think this will be better than Glass Car. If he can make the launcher...
Oh, yeah. It's already better than Glass Car, because it's not the same thing as...
Marble Circuits.
Well, it's different from Glass
Marble
Car.
Circuits, yeah.
And I don't know, Glass Car... Well, I don't really like to talk about Fubica. We either are all in or all out on that. We'll see. But, I mean... I don't know. Overall, I just think, man, I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts regarding the channel Marvels Beyond. I feel like there's a lot of improvements needed, but if they come, they might be good. We'll see. I don't know. They're not hitting the same marks, quality-wise as I see with JMR, of course, and of course, like Racing Marvel. So, I mean, I feel like it will happen soon, but we'll see.
To be quite honest, I think JMR is actually very, very poor in the resource and development, because if you think about it,
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
What have they
think
done
that...
in the past 4 or 5 years that has really been really nice or different? I mean, not much.
I think that
they have had same Marble Rally,
you
the
overlook the minute details of setting up something that looks this good. I think you overlook it. I think a lot of people do. I mean, there are the starting gate equipment, the timing equipment.
Hey, I would like to say
the aesthetic equipment. They're all way beyond what you would normally see from a home video or even a semi-professional marble race video.
I get
that is true. It is true.
But Fubica, you know what? The launcher, much better than the elevator Yellow literally has. That's R&D development.
Okay, well, you're saying this after one season of Marbula 1. I mean, they only had one season. They were the first ones to do it. I mean, there wasn't much time. You can't develop something that hasn't even happened yet.
Although I
mean, right? I mean,
I can get that point.
The first time ever using the elevator.
But here's the thing: is they're only thinking one-dimensional. They're only thinking elevator. They're not just thinking a shooter, which is absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm sure it crossed their mind.
I'm
but
sure,
it is quite
especially after seeing it. Heck, we even mentioned the shooter to Mel on the episode that he talked about it with us. I think it was the second episode where I was not able to talk with him, but we mentioned Hot Wheels wheel shooter, like the pressure applies it and launches them. They definitely knew about the idea of trying to do a shooter, but the problem is that they couldn't figure out how to do it without condensing the marbles into one track. But now that Fubica and now especially Racing Marbles League have shown
Racing Marbles League, by the way, I like their booster way better. It does not take half of the track to shoot and then deaden the speed of the marble booster. I think and actually it's been coined the marble booster on the Racing Marble League. That's the term I've been told to use when I comment.
Yeah, and
I think it's really nice. And actually, he actually sells that, so maybe he'll try to sell that to JMR.
Right. That's true. Yeah, it's now that there's proof of concept, for one thing, they can either buy it from Racing Marbles League. That's a totally viable option for them. And if not, then they can make their own, because they now have different concepts to try and build off of. I don't know. Will they do it for M2 or M1 Season 2? I don't know. I don't actually have that information. So I could not say if that's the case or not. I would not be surprised. Enough time has passed where they totally could, but the possibility of it just being the elevator again is there. So I don't know.
I feel like they're gonna go elevator this season, and then maybe in season 3 they'll really try to bring something new. I don't. They're a lot busier than other marble sports channels, so they can't. While Hershey will produce no videos for a year and then come out with NASMARB because he's had all that time to work on it, and then it'll be great, and then he'll continue with it. That's great. But JMR can't just do it. JMR can't just be, okay, we're just not going to post videos for a year so we can like work on a new idea that we have that's really complex, but we want to figure it out.
Right, because that's their income.
JMR can't do that. JMR, and especially, everyone forgets, Gel pretty much does this himself. He actually edits the videos, and for the most part, he has maybe... He uses helpers sometimes, but the majority of JMR is done by Gel. That's it. So, I mean, he's doing all this stuff. He has to make the Sand Marble Rally tracks, record it, edit it, do all of that. He needs to turn around, do Marbula 1, turn around, do Marble League. I mean, you think he's going to sit there for weeks and weeks and weeks and think about how to make the starting gate work a little bit better or how to put marbles inside of cars? I mean, come on. I mean, he's busy enough as it is, creating content that is easily way better than anything else you've seen out there, marble sports-wise. You can't knock their lack of research and development. I mean, he just doesn't have a big enough team, and he's too busy to do it. Yeah. And it already is amazing at that.
They should have. They should have
so
a big enough
I don't
team.
know. I don't know what you want me to say here about it. I honestly think that you're asking too much to ask them to come up with something crazy like putting marbles inside vehicles and then turn around and get. I hit my mic. Turn around and get videos out every week. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, imagine if you demanded a Hershey that he has to get a video out every week. Well, you wouldn't be able to.
And there's a big distinction made, like, with Hershey, he's a college student. He's not making money from not a whole lot of money from this. Whereas JMR,
he's putting as much in as he's making out. I mean, without the sponsorships, he'd be losing money. I think he's coming out about even. I'd say because like his viewership has been rough. It's been like not even 1,000.
Yeah, and whereas JMR, it's literally his living, so he has to work that hard on it.
Yeah.
But although I will say, I think his like time management is maybe a bit like or is maybe not the best because because now like he's into doing M1 and Sand Marble Rally at the same time, and that's like I feel like and don't forget Marbula E still isn't done, so it's like all this is overlapping on each other. And I feel like it's
a lot
like
overlapping.
He
Marbula
tries to do
E,
too
Marbula
much
2,
sometimes as well.
Marbula 1 Season 2. And then we have Sand Marble Rally going to overlap with Marbula. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know why they can't just finish one thing at a time. I don't know what they're doing. And it honestly is a very weird kind of schedule they're presenting. But no matter. I'm all I'm saying is he's busy. He's very busy. Okay, and he added that Marbula 1 thing. So that's Marbula 1, Sand Marble Rally, and Marble League. That's a full year. One season in each of those is a full year.
And he's also so like I think we forget like M1. There's 2 seasons in 1 year, so that begs the question: is that what's going to happen all the time? Like, is there going to be 2 seasons of M1 every single year?
I hope not. I really don't want to see that much M1.
I don't either.
I don't. I'm done with M1. I'm done.
Marbula
it needs to
1
be
is
one of those
fine,
a year.
It's not. Yeah, but
I don't, and Marbula E. I mean, come on. No. I don't want that many. I don't.
I have to agree. Too much Marbula 1. Too much. I mean, if they waited until maybe February next year, okay, I can see it next February. But now, no.
And here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say this. I guarantee it. I'm gonna use the word guarantee that you're gonna have at the most 3/4 the viewership in Marbula 1 Season 2 as you did in Marbula 1 Season 1. You're going to. You're going to. You're not going to pull everyone back. Marbula 1 is just not that interesting to run 2 seasons in a year, plus Marbula E, plus wasting the Sand Marble Rally final event. I hate that. They wasted the final event in Marble League this year for the Marble Marathon.
I have to agree.
That was Sand Marble Rally. I mean, there's just too much, and there's no way they're retaining the same viewership from Marbula 1 Season 1 to Marbula 1 Season 2. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. I just don't see it.
I mean, I would disagree with that last statement just because like I've seen people like getting hyped on it on Twitter. But like, I mean,
no, but like those people there's the people on Twitter. If you're on Twitter talking about marble sports, you're just into the whole thing. I mean, like you're gonna be hyped about it. I'm talking about you look at the view count. You look at like the view count.
Okay.
You're looking at some videos like hundreds of thousands of views. You're not pulling that. You're not pulling the same number.
Okay,
and we will see it happen.
So qualifying usually has approximately 350 views. And the race usually has approximately 750,000 views.
Yeah, I have to go back to see, but I think you're.
I looked at it. It's approximately 750,000.
Yeah, it seems to be back and forth.
Yeah, but there's
a couple that have really high, but I'm telling you, you're not pulling an average of 700,000 views this year for Marvel 1 Season 2. You're just not. You're just not.
Could I quickly say why they got so high viewership? Well, what happened this year? The unmentionable virus happened this year. So everybody was cooped up. He literally nailed the timing.
There's a million reasons.
Well,
you had virus. You had something new. You had Comet going crazy on Twitter. I mean, that's what pulled there was all that perfectly like coming together perfectly. All these different events that brought them all those views. Look at the viewership in Marble Rally. And I know Marble Rally is always lower than the other stuff, but I mean, like, we have this channel is 1.27 million subscribers, and you can't even for Sand Marble Rally, besides race 1, and the first race is always the most, you're lucky. You're really not pulling more than 200K each week on these videos, and it's going down every week.
200K. The most they hit after week 1 was 184, and that was race 2.
That's what I'm saying.
And then it's gone down. It's gone down. 147, 137, 128. And then the Marbula 1 Season 2 intro. This should have had, maybe, if it's as hyped as people said it was, it should have probably like 200, 300K. It's currently at 66,000 views.
Yeah, it should be. It's ridiculous.
Granted, it's only been on 2 days.
No, but like, I mean, like, you look at race 2, race 3. I mean, they're just not doing that good. And yes, they are double what they were last year. Last year it was like 70K, and now it's like 150K. But I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just not. There's something about their. I just think that Marbula 1 Season 2, another Marbula 1, another of that is just too much. It's just too much on a year. It just is.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, they had Marbula
and honestly, this is with COVID. So, I mean, this is with people literally having nothing to do every day. Watching it. I mean, when that ends and people get back into the world, I honestly don't know. I think honestly, I will always say this. I will say this once a million times. I think Marble League is the best and most dynamic and most interesting thing in Marble sports.
And I don't disagree.
I think that there should be a better extrapolation of that.
Okay?
Marble Showdown should not be one video. It just should not be.
It should be 4. I'd say 4 is good.
It should be 6 events. It should be 6 events. Marble Showdown should be definitely 6 events. You have 16 events in Marble League. 6 events is good for Marble Showdown.
Also, we should get to trivia because we're already pushing an hour.
You're right. I've been looking at the time, but every time we would say something, I just want to point things out, and I don't know. Somehow when MFA's on, we always get into these great weird discussions. I'm looking at the viewership at JMR right now, which is crazy. But yeah, we should hop into trivia. Then we're gonna have to wrap up the discussion quickly. We did cover NASMARB generally. We did not cover the particular race. That's okay. We'll do it next time. We may even prioritize it next time and do it first thing.
We'll have qualifying next race too. Next podcast.
Yeah, we will. We will have that. So we'll jump into that. But yeah, I think a lot of the things we covered today are important, and you should think about these things in general. And you should also just really look at all the different Marble Sports channels and decide what you think is the best. And as I always remind everybody, mswpodcast@gmail.com. That's mswpodcast@gmail.com. Please email in. Say literally anything. We will read your name, or if you don't want your name, we'll read your email on the show, anonymous or whatever, and we will say what you said, and we want your thoughts on the show. And I know you want to hear your thoughts on the show, so get emailing. Because I want to read them on the show. I mean, honestly, it baffles me. People listen to this show every single week. We retain the same 100 people every week. Yeah. You guys got to have something to say. Come on.
Not literally anything,
agreeing with everything,
but you get the idea.
Literally anything. Tell me how your week went, and I'll read it, and we'll talk about it. Anyways, we're gonna head to trivia. Play the music.
Now it's time for the trivia segment. Come on now, let's go.
All right, we're at trivia. I didn't want to delay that with a weird little, oh my god, is the music playing? Because we're actually running short on time, and trivia always takes longer than we think. So we're already at an hour, and I want to roll through this trivia raspberry race. See, there's a pun there.
Jeez.
We're gonna ricochet through it, boys.
Through the trivia. There you go, MFA. So I'm gonna actually start with my question and get us moving really quick, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. So the first trivia question coming from S-Man, written in by S-Man. He always writes in the trivia, or at least a lot of the time he does, which is awesome. And his question for us today is, what is Team Momo's name origin?
Ooh, doesn't it come from a dumpling?
Yeah, they're dumpling.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese dumpling name.
I think
something like that, or
technically
Chinese.
there's something else to this. I think it means like trash can or something. I know there's a secondary meaning, but it's definitely comes from a dumpling. I'm pretty sure.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure it's the dumpling, too. I'm pretty sure that's what momos are. They're like Japanese dumplings.
Yeah, they are a dumpling.
Let's see what he said about it.
Okay,
Tibetan dish momo, which is a dumpling stuffed with meat and vegetables. So it's Tibetan, which is actually a part of China. So if you said Chinese, you're right.
Well, I mean, Tibet is arguably part of it.
It's
own
part
country.
of China.
It's
it's
technically its own country.
Whatever. That is the last thing I want to argue about right now, to be honest. So, I mean, there you go. If you said dumpling, you're correct. If you didn't,
we all
then
got
whatever.
dumpling.
If you think Tibet is or isn't a part of China, maybe write in an email and tell me what you think about that. So,
thanks for the very boring question, S-Man, but it was very fun to make sure we all had a common sense check.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, not many people have common sense recently.
No, I would say not. Anyway, MFA, why don't you ask your question?
Okay. So, I'll probably say this twice because it might not be worded very well. How many times during all 5 Marble Leagues has an event record been broken? So, like, every single time. So, like, if, for instance, Team Momo breaks it once, and then it gets broken again, that counts as 2 records.
So that. So not just current records.
Write that down, Mr. Woff. Just oh dear.
My answer is gonna be 50.
Okay.
Just because I remember seeing like an overall current 20 records, and I feel like chances are that at least half of them have been broken 2 other times. So I'm gonna roll 50 on this. That's my best guess. Woff, what do you think?
So, wait. When are you counting records being set as well, MFA, or just broken?
Well, records set and broken, yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, I want to change my answer because I do want to change. I'm gonna put it down actually a lot now that I rethink it. I'm gonna go 25.
Okay.
I think 25 is quite a bit closer.
The records being set and broken.
It's a bunch.
So think about this. If, like, say, in balance we had Roho Roller's record. So then...
Well, like, what he's talking about is, like, remember that one time in... Balancing
so,
last year where the record
was
broken 3 times.
So that would count as 3.
So that would be 3.
That
would be
as
3,
records.
not just 1.
That counts as 3.
Yeah. And then Roll is obviously setting the record as 1. So, I mean...
4.
You have to consider all those aspects.
Okay, 58.
Okay.
Wow, 58.
The actual
Just throwing
number...
something out there.
Do you want to... anyone... Are we currently locked in?
Yeah, 25, 58. There you go.
Okay. Current number is 34 through 5 Marble Leagues.
I knew it was less than 50.
Yeah.
You absolutely
I just thought it was more
highballed it there, Mr. Woff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
He
Roho
rollered that one way over the top.
Yeah, well, I don't know how well that pun fits, but you did. We were quite high. Because like I was about to go 58 or 50 or something like that, and I was like, wait, but not all events even have records.
Oh wait, he
so
jungle jumped over all the numbers.
There you go. I don't know. It was a tough question, evidently.
Yeah, you know what that was.
Anyway, Woff, why don't you continue?
All right, it is time for yet another Ghost Marble trivia
question.
nice
Ghost Marble
I
question.
hate the Ghost Marble. Even though I love the Ghost Marble. Because the Ghost Marble be the goat.
I've warmed up to the Ghost Marble question, so let's see what happens.
All right, so this one is not nearly as complex. There's just not too much to it. So, in 2018, the Ghost Marble was not intended to be able to roll down the hill, but they did it anyway. And so, in one of the races, where they weren't supposed to, they still managed to actually get ahead of 5 marbles, getting 16th and earning 1 point. Can you name the race that happened in?
Wait, in 2018?
From 2018?
2018,
wait.
correct.
There were
So there's
only
only 8 races.
8 races in that one. Okay, so it's just 1 in 8 shot. It's going to be just picking up a cup and just guessing.
No, it's not a 1 in 8 shot, but why don't you give your answer first, and I'll give you my logic.
Wait, were there 1 in 8? Was it 1 in 8, or was it 12 that year?
No, it was 8. It was 8.
Okay, it was 8. Okay, well, if I'm thinking, so they're going to put more time into blocking the ghost marble in the first race. So I'm going to guess race 4. Race 4.
All right, that's a valid guess. I think that kind of mistake, if it happened in the first race, it would have just been redone because you haven't even started the season and like not much has really happened yet. Nothing's happened yet. It's been like 1 second into recording. They're just going to stop and be like redo because they don't want that happening. I feel like as the year goes on, they're more likely to let things go, but they probably wouldn't want it also happening in race 8 because that would also suck. And remember, the ghost marble leaving the gate is something that you would catch pretty quickly. It's something you would catch within the first few seconds, so they would definitely not be against restarting a race if they really didn't want it to happen. I don't think it's race 1. I don't think it's race 8, so that leaves 6, so it's a 1 out of 6. I feel like it's more likely to happen probably towards the end than towards the beginning. I just feel like that's when things start to get, maybe they'll probably start to get lazy since it's still hard work. So I just feel like I'm gonna go like race 5 or 6. I'm gonna go race 6. I'll go race 6. I'll give you 6.
Final answer?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
The answer is race 4.
Yeah!
Wow, good job, MFA. Nice guess.
Yeah. Now I know it's not the best one, but like the post was not really necessarily structured to in the mind of being trivia questions. I just kind of turned them into it. So, but we're nearing the end of that list, and so they're not nearly as complex. So I know that.
No, but it's good to it's good like little trivia to know. And yeah, like I think it was sensible that it would be one of the races in the middle 4, just because that's where things are going to get a little lazy and also get a little like, oh, we're willing to let things go. They're not going to want to let that happen race 1 or race 8 because that's more meaningful races. I don't know. That's what I thought about it. I was at least somewhat right there, but good guess, MFA. So that's going to wrap up the trivia for today, guys, and wrap up the episode. I know we ended with trivia, but just because we got on tangents that I didn't even foresee. But like I said, I love that.
Tangents?
It's
Tangents are the goat.
It's good.
That's definitely what tangents are.
Oh, by the way, let's go back to the discussion outro.
Play the music. We're going to play the music, blah, blah, blah.
That was the trivia segment. Now let's head back to the show. The show. Oh.
All right, music is played. So, and again, we're wrapping up the show. Please email in mswpodcast@gmail.com. That is mswpodcast@gmail.com.
Go to the Discord chat. Join the Discord server. Definitely.
Yes. In the Discord server. The link is somewhere, and the YouTube is somewhere. So you find it, and if you want to, that'd be great. Why not join? Hey, why not? Right? Nothing else to do. So yeah, and guys, share the podcast around. All right, if you know other Marvel sports fans that might want to listen to people just talk about marbles, share it around. All right, I'm sure there's a lot of people who enjoy it.
Did you just say 2 or 3?
I just said listen to people talk about marbles. But yeah, you got to share it around. So even if you share it to one person, that helps us out a little bit, grows our fan base maybe a little, and we can continue to bring you the show. Because honestly, guys, I love bringing you the show, but I want to see some growth over the next like 30, 40 episodes. And like by episode 100, I want to be a little bit bigger than we are now at least. So I'm hoping that you guys can help with that growth so we can continue to bring you the show. With that being said, guys, we're going to again wrap up the show right now. Waf, why don't you bring us out for the end of the show?
All right. Roll on, Marvel sports fans.